interact with it.
So I'm still doing what I'm doing now, but I'd be sat here with a knob on my head.
Exactly.
Exactly the same life.
Exactly the same life, but with the knob on the head. Now, because there's an infinite number of dimensions, there's another one where you're not doing this. You're sat there with a knob on your head, but you're talking French.
Why is this happening?
There is one, Carl, and this is a fact, that you're talking French with a knob in your mouth.
Exactly. And no one can make his head or tail of what you're saying.
No, because it's pidgin French anyway.
Exactly.
But who came up with this?
Well, it's because there are phenomenons that happen at the subatomic level that people are explaining as being that, for instance, atoms or very, very small molecules are disappearing and reappearing. And people are saying...
The fact that we try to dissect this theory, and you said very, very small molecules.
Well, yeah, okay. Atoms, neutrons...
And is there anything that we look at on this planet that we go, that's weird, but it would fit in normal in another dimension? It's just so happened.
I think
no, but say like the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Was he alright, but he was just in the wrong dimension?
I love that.
Well, it's an interesting thought. I mean, of course, there is one dimension that where you are the ruler of the world, and everyone thinks you are a genius.
Yeah.
I'd hate that though. I just don't understand why we're worrying about this though.
No, nor do I.
But we're not worrying about it.
Well, they are, because scientists and that sat in a room somewhere going, what's going on? What's happening in the other dimension? But we can't get to it, can we? So that's why I don't worry about it.
I agree with Carl. It's largely pointless. It's academic. It's like when a person does philosophy, and the first lecture he ever goes to, he comes out and he goes to the student union. He goes up to someone who's doing English or science and goes, "Oh, right, mate, that table's not there." They go, "What?" They go, "The table's not there." He goes, "What? Have you noticed?" They go, "What? What are you talking about? The table's not there." They go, "Isn't it there? Can you feel that? Is it there or not?" And his beret falls off.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's not a big chat up line as well when you've got a little bit of philosophy and you try to spout off. Because of course I told you before, haven't I, when I was doing a school play and there was a girl and I was trying to crack onto her, but I was going through my sort of, fifth form phase of sort of reading Catcher in the Rye and all the rest of it, rebelling against the system, and I thought, well, she's gonna find me appealing if she realises how smart I am. So can I just ask you one thing?
Yeah. Is this before or after the phase when you thought a bow tie would sort you out?
This was before the bow tie phase. Yeah. There was a phase, I should say, for new listeners, where I, for about 6 months, wore a bow tie because I thought it made me look sort of like I was from a Jeeves and Wooster book. And I thought I was very urbane and sophisticated. But, we're doing the school play, and there was one point where everyone was hanging out in one of the rooms, music rooms, getting changed, joking, laughing, cracking onto each other, right? I was sat in the room next door, empty room, on my own, right, reading Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, the sort of kind of, populist philosophy book from the 70s, just sat reading that in the hope that she would walk in the room, see me, think, my God, he's obviously wise, and presumably, get off with me. Must have sat there for about an hour and a half before anyone came in. And she came in eventually, and I thought, ding dong, this is it. She came in and said, "Have you seen Martin Wells?" I said, "I think he might be next door." She disappeared again. I gave her another 15 minutes on the hope that she'd come back. She didn't. Went in the next room. She was getting off with Martin Wells.
Oh no!
Because he'd been dancing around with no trousers on. So all I'll say is, there's a valuable lesson learned. I think this was the same girl. I was at a party once, and I was with this girl. I was trying to impress her, and someone lit some joss sticks. Just gonna give it a kind of hippie vibe, right? And I didn't know what joss sticks were. I thought they were some kind of drug, like cannabis. So these joss sticks are like, and I started going, because I thought we were all supposed to be getting high on these joss sticks. I started going, whoa, oh man, these joss sticks they're really doing me in, man. And everyone said, "What do you mean?" I went, "Oh, they're good stuff. This is good shit." And they said, "What do you mean, joss sticks? They're not drugs. They're just an incense." And I went, "Yeah, I know. I'm just saying they smell great." Is what I'm saying.
Meanwhile, Martin Wells on the table, trousers down, everyone just throwing in money.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I don't know if it was. There was another party where I don't think it was the same girl, but there's inevitably a girl there that I'm trying to, impress. And I went up to, it was a house party in someone's house. I didn't know anyone there really. I was only
Steve, you've come without trousers. Will it work for bloody Martin Wells?
And I went up to the toilet, and I had to do, number twos.
Brilliant.
And I did them. There was no toilet paper at the party. And I was like, I was scrubbing around in this bathroom thinking, what can I use? There was nothing. And I was thinking, oh God, what can I do? And as I recall, in the end, I couldn't make anyone hear. I didn't want to sort of go out into the hall and stuff. So I had to shout out the window into the garden where everyone was.
No.
Yeah. And someone had to come and bring me some. And once again, it didn't. Well, I wish I'd fucking had Zen in the Iron Book technique, then I could have ripped some fucking pages out and wiped my arse.
Oh, chimpanzee's that? He's gone and written it down again.
That's the ever-changing jingle for Carl's diary, excerpts of which we like to read each week. Suzanne said today can be my day because she has been a bit of a pain with her illness and that. So she said I can do what I want today. We went for a walk around Green Park. Loads of tourists were about looking at the Queen's house. She was in because the flag was up. I wouldn't want to live there. Why wouldn't you want to live there? Just because it's right in the centre of town?
It's just not in a good place, is it? It's got a roundabout outside and that.
Really busy.
It's pretty good.
I went for a pee in the toilets. When I came out, a pigeon had shat on Suzanne's coat. She was in a bit of a mood about it. A bird shat on my ear once. I left it for about 10-15 minutes until I got home. I washed it off, and in that 10-15 minutes, it had corroded my ear.
He's had a lot of problem with ears. He told me the other day, he got up, washed, had a bath, had some breakfast, went to the shops to get a newspaper and had a chat with a woman in the corner shop, got home, pottering around, looked in the mirror, he had a cotton bud sticking out of his ear. He went, what annoyed me was she didn't say anything. Like it's her responsibility.
Yeah. No, but she knows me well enough to sort of, go, you got a cotton bud in your ear.
No, she knows you well enough to go, Carl's got a cotton bud in his ear, I've seen worse. When you've got a cotton bud in your ear, what interrupted
I think Suzanne called or my dad called or something, and then because I was running a little bit late because I'd been talking to them, the earbud was in, I just popped my coat on and went to the shop.
Carl, you got a toothbrush in your mouth. Oh.
Walked through Covent Garden. There were 5 of them mimes knocking about. I don't understand why people take pictures of mimes. Everyone looks like a mime in a picture.
That's so true. That's really true. If the point is they're staying still, if that's their skill, a picture won't tell that story. That's absolutely true.
My dad took the cat to be put down today because it kept bumping into things since losing its sight. My mum said she's not going to get another one. She said the parrot is looking worried as it's seen the budgie and the cat go in the space of 3 months.
Your mum said the parrot's looking worried. What happened to the cat then?
It gets into a lot of fights. It lost one eye, and then it got into another fight and lost another.
Oh,
and it was just walking around bumping into stuff. But I mean, the vet sort of said, "Oh, we can do stuff to keep it alive and all that," but it's a bit out of order, isn't it? Because it costs a fortune. They shouldn't tell you.
But
Mum and Dad can't afford to have eyes put on it and stuff.
no, you can't have eyes put on a cat
No, but
anyway.
they said, "Oh, we can do something here. We can
What?
have its eyes sorted out."
But I don't think you should be allowed cats.
Why?
Not the Pilkington family.
Why not? Well, they have
keep
good
dying.
lives. Yeah, I know, but they have good lives whilst they're still knocking about. It's just that we get through them.
It's a good job you're not going to have kids.
Oh, God almighty. I can't believe it. The cat that kept throwing up. So his mum shaved it. Unbelievable. Dry white cat.
A mate sent me a story on email about a bloke in China who has this weird illness that means he can't have his picture taken. That's not the weird bit. If he tries, his body doesn't appear in the photo.
Don't talk shit.
He has had group pictures taken and everyone appeared apart from him.
Don't talk shit.
The
That's
story had a
bollocks.
picture next to it of a family photo, and it said he was stood at the back, but you couldn't see him.
Right, he wasn't in the picture.
He was in the picture.
No, he wasn't in the picture.
He's done loads of tests and stuff.
No,
on
there's
him.
I haven't done loads of tests. This is bollocks. There's no way this is scientifically possible. What's his wanted? Yeah, now he's wanted. Just a white bit of paper up on the police wall. Have you seen this man? What man? Did you see him? Tell us. You're talking shit.
Suzanne watched the film You've Got Mail tonight for like the 14th time. I don't think you could properly fancy someone without seeing them, unless you're blind. I think it's odd when blind people have affairs. Why is that odd?
Just because most stuff is based on looks, isn't it? So you think once they've found someone, they're happy with them, stick with them.
But no, it's not true. Most things are based on looks.
What I mean is when you first like meet someone and that.
Well, and initially it's only looks because you don't know them.
So that's what I'm saying.
But that's a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it?
Well, no, it's just what I think. I'm not saying that's fact or anything. I'm just thinking if you're blind, why mess about?
You're still basing on it if it's only looks that people find. What?
Yeah, I'm just saying. So why is a blind person messing about having an affair?
Because I'm saying that presumably that blind person isn't basing anything on looks.
I just, alright, I mean, maybe that's not, I mean more like...
Do you want me to cross it out? Shall I cross it out? 'Cause
it's just the same way, I think I put how, you know, people, I read something in a Sunday paper once with some bloke who was going out with some woman, he ended up going out with a sister who was a twin. If you're going to have a change, have a change.
Spoke to Ricky about trips to the moon. He was up for going just to see what the world looks like. I came up with the idea of a giant mirror on the moon that would reflect the world back. He had a few questions, but I had the answers.
Yeah.
He changed the subject, I won.
Right. My first question was, how would you get it up there? He said bit by bit. That'd be a good mirror then, wouldn't it? I said, how big would it be? He went, you'd still need a telescope. I said, how would you get it on the right side of the moon, always facing the right? He went, what? He went, does the moon move then? I went, yes.
And if we don't like them, there's wallpaper over it. It's Suzanne's birthday tomorrow, so I've got to get her something. I sometimes think it would be best if we didn't celebrate birthdays. I think people would live a bit longer if they didn't know how old they were. Age puts restrictions on things. She said something about wanting one of them posh badges to put on her coat. I will look for one later.
I love the fact that around the time that you've got to buy Suzanne her birthday present, you think that birthday presents are a bad idea.
Got up early, it's Suzanne's birthday, gave her the card, present. She was well happy with her posh badge. She wore it to work. It's quite nice to hear a moment where she was actually happy for once in your company. They always say when you get someone a present you should buy them something they wouldn't buy themselves. Daft rule. I want something I would buy myself if I had the money. When I was young, me Auntie Nora got me a present I wouldn't buy myself. It was a t-shirt with her face on. Looked at what's been going on in the world. Someone has found some people who live in an old town somewhere where they are so old-fashioned they still walk on all fours. There is a picture of them and they use shoes on their hands.
That's not old-fashioned. Why is that old-fashioned?
That's some kind of regressive evolution.
Yeah, really old-fashioned.
Yeah,
It's not true, is it?
it is true. It's somewhere in,
Well, I believe they have found a group of people that are living and walking around on all fours, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that's-
believe they're wearing shoes on their hands.
And I don't believe they haven't evolved to standing up.
no, they just haven't seen other people walking on 2 feet.
Don't talk shit all your life.
That's all it's about though, isn't it? You copy. When you're a baby, if you were stuck in a room, you'd wander about on all fours, because that's the way, that's an easy way of getting about. So you only walk on 2 feet because you see everyone else doing it.
Well, I don't believe that is the case, because as I understand it, some of the family are walking on 2 feet. So I don't know what the ins and outs of it are. I know there's a forthcoming documentary on the BBC, so maybe we should watch that and then we'll all know what's going on. Instead of just leaping to conclusions because you read half of it on the internet and then skipped on to something
all
else.
I'm saying is, though, you would wear shoes on your hands if you're roaming about like that.
So
I mean,
you just
it-
confessed there that you leapt from fact to fiction, did you, in the space of one diary entry?
It's just that I saw a little picture.
And you assumed that they'd be wearing shoes on their feet.
If
And
they've got
then-
shoes on their feet, they might as well have them on their hands, because their hands are doing the same as the feet. If you're not going to wear them on your hands, don't put them on your feet then.
I'm beginning to think some monkey news was bollocks.
Treated Suzanne to her tea, went and got her a curry from the shop opposite. While I waited for the food, I read a story in the Metro newspaper about an alien gang that kept appearing in someone's garden. The bloke moved, but when he used to pass the house at night, he would still see the aliens knocking about, hiding underneath his old shed. There was other alien stuff, but I had to go as the food was ready.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying that.
Yeah, load of bollocks again. Well, good. More drivel from Carl's diary next week. Right, Rogbusters, quick.
Right then, so last week gave you some initials, again of artist or a band.
Quick!
Cryptic clue and that.
Yeah.
The first one I gave you, the initials were ND.
Yeah.
That Jamaican fella, he doesn't want anything. Right? So you got to think about the accent there.
Yeah.
He doesn't want anything, so he's not sort of demanding anything.
Okay.
No sort of demand, nil demand. Nil demand. So it's like Neil Diamond.
They'd say Neil Diamond, please.
No,
Could I have some Neil Diamond?
No,
Right.
nil demand.
But just now it was all to do with I've got no demands. Now it's a Jamaican person going in and asking for Neil Diamond in a Jamaican voice.
Yeah, I know, but it's a cryptic clue, innit?
Doesn't work.
The second one was, the initial was E. I asked him to pass me the ball by using the red. What do you do if you chuck someone a ball?
They head it back.
Edit back, yeah.
They head it back.
So you'd say, edit to us. Editors. That's editors.
What is it? Is it
It's a band that I
No, there's
like
a band
good at
called
the moment.
The Editors, but there's no band called Editus.
Editus? What's that? Is it Greek? Is it a Greek band?
Again, cryptic. Just you got
No,
to
again,
cryptic.
bollocks.
Then the last one, TR was the initials.
Yeah.
The cryptic clue. He's got the woolly ones, but I've got the ones that run and charge at you.
Go on.
What I forgot?
Dunno. Sheep. Something to do with sheep.
Right, something to do with sheep. They're the woolly ones.
Yeah.
What are the ones that run and charge at you?
Oh, they're woolly as well.
No, what,
Rams.
not as woolly. The rams, right?
Yeah,
the ram ones, right? If you write that down,
No, you not even write it down. It's
that's
a.
Ramones.
The Ram ones.
No, but it's they say it, isn't it? It's not because it's not.
No, it sort of changes about a bit. Just cryptic.
Part of your understanding of the word cryptic is
Yeah.
it can be anything.
What am I thinking? Cryptic.
Cryptic clues in a crossword have a logic to them. That's why people are able
So,
to answer them.
Well done to Neil Fennon, who's in Canada.
Well, I just
He's
don't know what that
organised-
says about you.
Bollocks this. Right, do the next week's one.
Right then.
Just get it over with. We've got to stop this. Monkey News is coming back.
No, it's not coming back. There's nothing going on. We're not doing it. Right, SC are the initials of the artist of the band.
Go on.
SC. The cryptic clue.
Just stop saying cryptic because it's not.
The clue is, I went into the restaurant on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and the fella making the food was there each time. Right? SC are the initials. I went into the restaurant on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday if you want. The fella making the food, he was there each time.
So you changed it.
SC.
Was he there Saturday and Sunday or not?
He can be if you want, I'm just saying he's there a lot.
Oh, this
Work it out,
this
SC.
is like pulling
I'm
teeth.
trying to hurry it up. And the second one, go into that woman's store and rip her off. Right?
Right.
That's C.
Okay.
C. Go into that woman's store and rip her off.
Okay.
If you're going to do that.
Oh, don't mumble at the end of it. Go on. Just do the clue.
And the last one, the initial E,
Last one ever.
you have had a go at laying down a track, but it ain't perfect, right? So you're sort of making a track.
No,
Like
just
an
do
easy-
the clue.
You're making a track. You've
What,
had a go at
give us
laying
the
it down,
clue. Don't
but it
just
ain't
talk
perfect.
around it. Right, the initial is E.
E.
What's the clue?
You have had a go at laying down the track, but it ain't perfect.
Fine.
A music track.
Yeah.
Well, no, but no. You can't. No, these people can't ask questions.
I can.
Oh
So
God.
send them in. podcast@rickygervais.com.
Right, that's the end of another Ricky Gervais show.
Oh, thank God for that.
Another one next week. We've got to give value for money because
Oh.
this is shit. So we've got to. What we do is, because this is such dreadful bollocks, we're giving more of it.
Yes.
That's
Lucky them.
Yeah. So it's cheerio from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Bye.
and Carl Pilkington.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed this programme. This is Audible.
Hello, welcome to number 5, season 2 of the Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
Coming up, Carl's going to teach us all about Sigmund Freud.
No, we're not doing that.
Well, no,
Yes,
we
we
are,
are.
because last
Yeah.
week we promised people that you'd research
Yeah.
Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, but I had a look, but I didn't find him that interesting, so...
But that's not...
But this is
That's
what I mean.
irrelevant.
This is what we were talking about. You say you wish you could go back and learn stuff in school because you didn't. You want knowledge. You always say about you want to learn
Yeah, I
something
want
a
to
day.
learn something interesting every day.
Yeah, but you've got that.
I had a look at the website. It just...
SigmundFreud.com. Yeah, he started that.
I just
didn't
had a
he?
look. I just did a search on, like, famous quotes from philosophers.
Quotes, brilliant. That get you everything you need. A quote.
Well,
That's
I don't need to know his history.
that sums
I
up
just-
a man's life work. A quote.
No, but that's what you're remembered for, isn't it? Churchill will go on the beaches and all that. Sigmund didn't really have any sort of...
Catchphrases is what
Yeah,
you mean.
things that you hear.
Yeah, sound bites. He wasn't good with the press. Brilliant.
So you haven't bothered to learn about it?
Well,
You didn't even
we're-
pick up a book?
I wouldn't know where to start.
Do you feel like you're thinking in your head?
Sometimes, like then I was. But I don't know if I am, because it's got a mind of its own, hasn't it? Did look at some of the things that he'd said, and the
Do
one
it
that...
now. Do it now. Right, what have you learnt about Freud? Okay, here we go. This is Carl Educates Ricky and Steve. Number 1, Sigmund Freud. Carl, tell us what you learnt about Sigmund Freud.
Right. All I remember was that he said a baby... You know, you look at a little baby having some milk from its mum's breast, right? It looks well happy. It has enough. It's full up. It goes to sleep. It's got a smile on its face, right? He said that's what happens when you're older as well. That's all I remember from all the things that he was saying on his thing. He just said it's weird how like it's like,
Absolute.
Now, to be fair, Rick, that is obviously in translation
Yeah, I
from the original, so I don't want you...
No, I'm not having a go at
Criticising,
Freud.
but, you know.
I mean, Freud has been discredited on some issues, and we've moved on with experimental psychology and
but that's
what have
the
you.
one that was interesting.
I don't quite follow... So what do you take from that? Explain that to us in layman's terms.
I don't know.
Well, that's pointless. Without application, knowledge is pointless.
But it's not knowledge, is it? He's just saying drink milk all your life. It's good for you.
No, he's not saying drink milk all your life. What is this? Is this an advert he's doing
He
now?
also came up with go to work on an egg.
Yeah. Oh, Christ Almighty.
But like I said, I wasn't that impressed by his work. So
Unbelievable.
Carl is allowed to vote. He's allowed to cast a vote
That's
in this
it.
country. It doesn't make sense.
yeah, I wish I hadn't. I've only done it once, and look what happened. I got called up for jury duty. Not doing it again. People do what they do anyway. I think they only let us vote, so we feel like we're having a say in what's going on. But really, it just carries on, doesn't it? I haven't seen a big change.
But that's exactly why you vote.
No, the
Having
best
a
thing
say.
you can do is look after yourself. Get on with it.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I hope that's a quote. I hope someone out there who's, maybe making a dictionary of quotes or an encyclopedia, and they've finished with Freud, they've done Pavlov, he hit a dog on the head with a stick. Next, Carl Pilkington. Carl Pilkington, what do you say about the world? Just get on with it.
Well,
Brilliant.
we're not in charge of it, is what I'm saying.
That's nearly as good as let's go to the beach. Winston Churchill.
I spoke to my dad about it, and he called up saying, "Oh, I'm sick of hearing about this."
quality thinking here. Go on.
Go on.
No, he was saying about global warming and that. He was saying he's sick of hearing about it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's just the world, and we're all getting old, and the world's getting old. That's the end of it.
Brilliant. What another amazing quote.
Well, it is. What we're trying to do. This is what I'm saying about we don't like people to get old. We're always saying, oh, we can change that face, we can lift your chin up, we can put a wig on you.
Why are
It's
you
the same-
so annoyed about people wanting to live a little bit longer?
Because enough's enough is what I'm saying. The world's the same. It's just getting old, and it used to have more green on it, but now it's gone a bit bald. So it hasn't got as much green. It's got more soil. Treat the world like a head.
That's an amazing quote.
Treat the
That's
world
no-
like
you-
a head.
You've actually come up with one there. I thought of another phrase. You could just sitting here talking to you, flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
What do you think that means? Flogging a dead horse.
A number of people are still amazed by your complete lack of understanding some of these famous sayings and phrases. So,
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's like you know, get a new horse, or
He hasn't got it.
no one's going to buy it,
No, it doesn't mean that sort of flogging.
and you're hitting it.
Yeah.
right.
So what's the point in hitting it? So
It's dead anyway, so don't bother hitting it. It's not
absolutely
feeling
pointless. It's a it just means it's a waste of time.
Yeah, but it depends what that horse has done to you.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does. It's that thing, innit, of like if a bear attacked you and you managed to hit it on the head and it went down, you'd go and you'd be annoyed. You still have built up aggression. You give it an extra clout.
Extraordinary.
I don't know who's compiling this book.
Sometimes it's worth flogging a dead horse if he did something, if he annoyed you.
Carl, I've got a couple of little facts for you, just to try and inflame your imagination. Sharks are immune to cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
So what? How have they found that out?
Well, I don't know, but
But I've never heard of any fish having cancer though. I haven't heard of a cod being ill. So why are we focusing on that one?
okay. Stroking a spider can cause its hair to fall out.
What? Because it doesn't like it and it gets stressed out, or is it just that some people are rubbing too hard?
No, I don't think it's they're rubbing too hard. I think it's something to do with. I mean, what sort of maniac is stroking a spider anyway?
My mum did it once.
Really?
You know, not to a spider. It was just a little bee. He'd been out, sunny day and that. Got the washing off the washing line. He was bringing it in. Little bee sat on the top, like the bed sheet or whatever it was. And she's in the kitchen with it. And she goes, "Look at that little bee there." She started sort of stroking its head. It loved it.
How did it make it clear that he loved
Well,
it?
he wasn't struggling. It was just sat there like, because it must have been like a bit dozy. We get a bit dozy, don't we, in the heat and that. And he just stayed there on the sheet, and she sort of stroked his head for a bit. And she had to put it out. It didn't go out. It didn't try and escape. It was like, "You've had enough now." That was that. She sent it out. She loved all that. She loved little flies and stuff. And we had Harry the housefly.
What?
It's Harry the housefly.
What do you mean?
It's just a fly that always seems to knock about in one corner of the room.
Right, it's the same fly, was it?
Yeah, it was the same fly. Yeah?
How do you know it was the same fly? So whenever she saw a fly, she went, "Oh, it's back."
Well, we weren't letting him in. It's just that it stayed in.
Carl, what makes you think it was a pet housefly as opposed to a different fly every day?
Because it was always in the same place in the corner.
But it could have been that something about that particular place that attracted flies rather than it was the same fly.
Well, I'm never worried about it. It wasn't harming us. It just always hung about.
But how do you know it was the same fly? How do you
I don't
recognise
know.
it?
We weren't worried about it. It doesn't matter, does it? If like we're thinking another fly's getting a bit of free rent or something, just let it stay. I don't understand what.
But why no? Right, okay. You're in a house, right? There's flies, okay?
Not flies, fly.
Why do you think it was the same fly for all those years?
Just because we haven't got loads of other flies. At no point was there a crossover period where there's two, and it's like, hang on a minute, he's trying it on here. That's what I mean. It was always just one on its own. We just thought, leave it. It's all right. I don't know why. Why are you suspicious? Why do you always think someone's out to do you?
I don't know why you assumed when you see a fly every now and again that it's exactly the same fly.
It
In
just
fact,
was.
it's Harry.
The one in our house was the same one.
How do you know?
Well, alright, I don't, but at no point did I feel suspicious. Speaking of flies, though, and that, they've got one, right? I was out with Ricky, right, and he was reading the paper. There was a story there about a fly that its eyesight was bad or something, and they'd made it a pair of glasses, and it had a picture of a housefly wearing
Okay, this is incredible,
Glasses.
Steve. Can I take over?
Hang on, let me just need to finish a couple of questions for that. So there's a small fly and they've made it a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
So that it can see better.
Yeah.
And your concern is what?
Well, again, it's just that thing of we're looking after everything now, aren't we?
Sorry, I've got to come in here, Steve.
Alright.
I showed you the
saw
story.
it, you saw
It was a
it.
picture of a housefly with a pair of glasses,
Glasses
right?
on, yeah.
Right? It was about a one-sentence thing. It was about how far technology's come,
Yeah,
and a
well,
group of
it's right
scientists
out.
using microscopy, right, and laser tools had, as an exhibition, shown that they could make a pair of glasses smaller to fit on a hat. They've put it on there and they've taken a picture of it, and it's on as a display. At no point was it actually, because the fly had bad eyesight, the fly was presumably dead. It was purely an art installation or a show of technology.
I thought you were going to say, Rick, that you'd drawn the glasses on there.
Yeah.
And he believed it like, there's a bearded lady in this paper. No. My God, Tony Blair looks like Adolf Hitler. No.
What do you think of that, though?
But they did it as an
Flies out.
experiment.
Yeah, but all things start as an
But
experiment.
why would they make a pair of glasses for a fly?
How would they know he had bad eyesight?
How would they know it was the same fly?
Bumping into stuff? I don't know.
Bumping into stuff.
But why would they bother making glasses for it?
And they've got a compound eye. They'd have to make about 1,000 pairs of glasses for a fly.
It's just that thing, innit, of human nature is something's wrong with something, let's fix it. And they try and help people out all the time, don't they? When you know, we're always doing it. We're always trying to help people out instead of just going, you've been dealt a duff card, cope with it. They're always fiddling, always fiddle about. It's like that bit about what was it? See, this is technology going mad and that. They're doing operations on people, right? And instead of injecting you with stuff that knocks you out, they're going to hypnotise you, and they operate on you when you're hypnotised, but you're still awake, so you sat there awake, you're aware of what's going on around you, but you can't feel anything because someone's hypnotised you. Why are we messing about with that when there's nothing wrong with the injection?
Well, there are. I mean, it's not healthy to constantly give someone
Very
anesthetics.
dangerous.
Yeah,
Very
but you
dangerous
just
time.
said it yourself there, constantly. If
If
you
you
keep
do
coming in
multiple
having
operations
stuffed up,
on someone,
don't be doing multiple operations.
but sometimes you need to
Why?
because of
Knacker,
whatever the
forget
complaint
it.
may be.
Yeah, but no, not multiple. Give them 1 or 2 max. After 2, it's like enough's enough. We've operated on you. We fixed that. We're not fixing anymore because it's just going to be there's going to be something else wrong with you because you're getting old, like the world. Get on with it. That's what I'm saying. Stop sort of ploughing stuff into it. Like I've said before about a car. You know, the gearbox has gone. All right, we'll replace it. Oh, exhaust. Well, all right, we'll put an exhaust on it. Oh, the oil filter. Forget it. Good idea.
We'll be the judge of that.
I'll do it now. It's not a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sticking my neck out here. I think this isn't going to be a good idea.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to second that motion.
Okay, let's see if we're both right.
See-through skin.
High five, Rick.
Well, I heard, and you told me this, so I know it's true.
What?
Do you know when I talked about replacing blood with ink?
Yeah.
They can do it, not with ink. Coconut, what was it?
Well, one, it said coconut milk can be used as plasma, but I haven't had that verified because it's off one of those websites where there are spurious facts. I've seen facts like the Impala's fur is nearly the same colour as grape juice, which I don't know who's that aimed at. I don't know, you know. It's so.
Well, what do you think of that, Steve? I mean, I've sort of touched on it.
But I've just got to echo what Ricky said. I can't have an opinion unless it's been verified.
But why aren't you just being open-minded enough to go, well...
No.
But
It's
it's
not
not
being
being
open-minded. Open-minded is being open to the facts that, you know, the possibility. Open-minded isn't believing everything you hear. You don't believe everything you read, do you?
A lot of stuff you kind of go, well, that's interesting. But
what we talked about this? What about Noah's Ark?
what about it?
Well, you know, you said you believed it because it's in book form, but according to that, didn't he get 2 of every species on a big boat? But we know that's impossible, don't we?
Depends where he was. If it was above a zoo, there would have been a lot of different stuff knocking about. That's my only problem
The
with
zoo
that.
hasn't got 1% of all animal species.
No, but they've got more. What I'm saying is, where was he floating where they could get an elephant, a giraffe, a cat, a dog, a gerbil? Where were all these things floating about?
Well, exactly.
Right,
That's
these
my
Old
only
Testament
downfall.
zoos, they were quite...
Yeah,
quite
but
big,
exactly.
really.
But you're right. You're questioning it. How is it possible?
But I've just said, a zoo.
But what are you talking about? A zoo? As I said, there's no zoo that has got 1% of all animal species.
Well, I don't know where he got them from then.
There's a couple of million species of animal. And how did he round these animals up?
Because they were drowning, so they were looking for any boat.
So they were actively seeking out an ark.
Well, they would have just been looking for anything to get hold of.
Yeah, and where did he keep them all? How did he keep them all separate? How did he...
At that point...
Oh no, the lions at the otter.
No, because at that point, it's that thing in it of how you all pull together in a bad situation.
Shit.
You all chip in, they're all like, oh god, you know, let's be nice to our neighbours.
Right, so there's spiders talking to flies and...
Well, they would have just gone elsewhere, wouldn't they? They would
What do you
have
mean?
been on another bit of the boat. The spiders don't have to knock about the lions just because they're all in it together. They get their own little area, don't they?
Well, I don't know, how big is this boat? How
It's big, it's a big boat. Hey, how long, what was the warning he got from God to make it?
I don't know.
It was a couple of weeks.
He probably had the Extreme Makeover Home Edition team. They all chipped in. Probably had Queer Eye for a Straight Guy helping him out with some of the
interior design elements.
Yeah. 2 of every species, Carl. How big would this boat have to be?
Yeah, it's big.
You can't just keep saying it's big, because I know in your mind you're imagining this ark. There's a boat with Noah up the front with his wife, 2 giraffes behind him, then next there, 2 elephants, and it just and it's just like elephant, giraffe, hippo, dog, cat, weasel, couple of frogs, and a spider talking to a fly going, let's get on. But when we're off here, you're dead.
But what would you have done then? Are you saying that you wouldn't get on there because it's too noisy?
It's not a question of
not
what
what
didn't
you've
happen.
done.
It didn't happen.
To be honest, I'm not bothered, and they got through it, didn't they? They got through it. They're here now. We're not short of them. If anything, like I said, he didn't do us a favour because he saved too much. You can't move out there for stuff.
Oh, chimpanzee, now he's running it down again, you fucking...
That's the jingle for excerpts from Carl's diary. This is all legitimate stuff. Ricky and I have had no input in this. This is the first time we get to read it. Went and did some shopping for stuff as it was my turn. Suzanne moaned a bit because I forgot orange juice and bought some cheap toilet paper. She always buys the expensive toilet paper. I don't know why they make toilet paper with pretty patterns on it.
That made it into the diary.
Up and out at 9 o'clock to go to the Cotswolds. Now I think this was a gift for your girlfriend, wasn't it? For her
Yeah, it was a
birthday. You went to the
birthday and that,
Cotswolds,
so I just went for one night.
Got the car and headed off. We stopped at a service station to get some breakfast. We had fried toast with an egg on it, 1 sausage and beans, twice. Cost us £13.85. They sell everything separate, so it seems cheap. At that price, we must have been charged for each bean. We found the B&B, but they wouldn't let us in the room because we were early. We went for a walk. There was not much around the B&B, so we had a quick walk around the car park. I went back in. Happy birthday. The room was now ready. It's an alright room. 3 biscuits, so I ate them straight away. Like a child.
Like a dog! He runs in, jumps on the bed. No,
Get off the bed, not on the furniture. The room overlooked the car park that we'd already been round. Just staring at the window. Remember when we went there?
We'd always have the car park.
Yeah. Oh God! The room had posh coat hangers in the wardrobe with sponge on them.
So I ate the sponge.
Don't think they are needed. We went and booked a table for Sunday dinner and went on another walk. There was a field that was there just for birds to live on. We couldn't see any, so we went to the pub. Headed back to where we were staying for our dinner, I had beef. It was nice enough, but there was a family of 13 behind us. I don't see the point in going out in large numbers. They annoyed me. One of the family asked for sorbet before his next course. He was only about 11. He thought he was it. I said to Suzanne, I'm had enough and needed a kip. Watched Planet Earth on BBC One. They filmed a panda for 4 weeks and all it did was sit in its cave. It did nout. If I was Fiat, I wouldn't name one of my cars after them as it suggests it won't work or go very far. It'd be like bringing out a Ford Sloth. No one would buy it.
Sloth. I would love that ad campaign. Oh, that's amazing. Oh god.
The new Vauxhall Slug. We had a look around the local village. There wasn't much to it. We did the usual thing and had a look around the church graveyard to see how old the dead people are.
Suzanne, so far. She's gone to the Cotswolds. The room wasn't ready. She's seen the car park, an empty field, and now let's go and play how old the dead people
I
are.
like the fact that you mentioned we did the usual thing of having a look around the church graveyard. Do you make her do that every time you go away?
I like the fact. I want to know what she did for 2 hours when you slept. Did she just look?
She went to a club and a whale of a time.
No, she just looked out the car park, just like memories.
But that's what you do though, isn't it, when you go to these places? There's nothing else, unless you want fudge. Or, you know, you walk round a church graveyard and have a look. There's nothing.
We went home. It took 3 hours to drive back. People say they go to the country to see the wildlife. I saw rabbits, pheasants and a fox on the way home. They were all dead in the road. I was just intrigued to know, because Rob from Burton-on-Trent has sent this in, and he wants to know that, because he's just started seeing someone, and he wants to know what your advice, Carl, is on how to keep her happy. You know, he's just started a relationship with someone. He wants to know what your advice would be to keep her happy, because, you know, I mean, he won't have heard that you took Suzanne on that wonderful trip to the Cotswolds. So, what's your advice really for someone who's perhaps just started a relationship? I mean, you've been with Suzanne for what, 9 years?
Ages. I don't think you have to go out of your way to please him, because then it's not the right person. I think you should just do what you want, and then if they like it, then they're the right ones for you. So don't go out of your way too much. I mean, I got the posh badge for a birthday. That's once a year. The rest of the time, it's kind of like, you know, I like weird stuff. I like watching weird stuff and all that. Now and again, I won't make her watch it. I'll tape it.
It's amazing advice.
But sometimes
This is amazing advice.
sometimes you just say, no, come on, the bloke with the 2 heads on, I want to watch it live.
So, give and take is what you're saying there.
That's all. It shouldn't be hard. As soon as it's hard, it's not right. So just go about your business. See if she joins in.
Brilliant. Another quote for the book.
Woke up to the Commonwealth Games on the radio. Now, what are you making of the Commonwealth Games? Is that something that interests you? Are you a sports fan?
I'm not really. I mean, Suzanne's sort of been getting up early, especially to watch it. You know how I feel about a lot of it. It just seems to be sort of wasted. If people are running fast, use it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just try to beat your own record or someone else's, do something where you do have to run. If you're a good swimmer, be a lifeguard. Don't be messing about going up and down.
I was swimming recently. I do a lot of swimming, and I've never quite mastered my front crawl. Just never quite nailed the breathing, because it's quite tricky, isn't it? You know, you've got to breathe at the right moment. And so I'm in the swimming pool in the local gym, and there's a guy bombing up and down, really doing a great forward stroke. So I waited till he came up, and sort of went, excuse me, mate. I was just watching you when you were doing your front crawl. I was really impressed. Could you just watch me when I do mine and tell me if I'm going
Why
right?
would you go to a man?
I know, and that was what that was the problem. Is only as I was saying it did I realise what it sounded like. I've just been watching you swimming up and down. And I was really impressed.
And you're both in speedos.
Both in speedos. You know, I'm got the goggles on.
Oh, you got special
orthopedic, special prescription goggles so I can see when I'm swimming.
How much were they?
Quite pricey.
But why do you need them? There's nothing in a pool to look at. It's not like you're scuba diving. There's
Well,
nothing.
hold on. Clearly there is something to look at in a pool.
Well, no, I wasn't checking. Well, I was checking him out, but I was checking him out for swimming tips. And he just looked at me when I asked him, "Can you just watch me and offer me any tips?" And he just
See,
looked at me like I was just mental.
That is such a strange thing to say. Can you just watch? I don't know how you have the nerve to do.
Really motivated.
Well, I know it's innocent, but what a strange thing to go up to someone.
But what civilization are we living in where we can't just ask our fellow man to help us out with our forward crawl?
But we're in a society where we can't. But you know that. It's a strange thing to say.
But sometimes it's nice to just think, no, do you know what? I'm not going to fall into the trap of
I
thinking
agree.
he's immediately going to think I'm gay or that I'm chatting him up. I'm just going to ask him to do me a favour. There's nothing wrong with that.
What if he said, yeah, it's just good, yeah. Do you mind coming at me with my plastering? You'd have said, no, I can't.
But it's not the same. He's in the swimming pool. He's
Yeah.
there in the pool. He's swimming up and down. He's, it's not no skin off his nose to just offer a bit of kindly advice. If your car's broken down in the middle of nowhere and someone drives by, it's a generous thing to do. Just stop and maybe look under the bonnet and help them out.
I agree.
But I don't see how it's any different. And he did, and all he asked was that I wake him off. No, he didn't. I'm joking. That's the jingle for Rockbusters, a quiz which I don't think anyone enjoys. I mean, Carl doesn't enjoy writing them, we don't enjoy listening to them, the listeners from the emails are just not interested, so don't know why we bother. But anyway, here we go.
Last week's clues, go.
The first one, it's cryptic clue, just in case.
No,
it's the
stop
first time
saying
you've heard
cryptic,
it.
'cause they're not
Cryptic
cryptic.
clue with initials of an artist or a band. You work it out, you send in the answers. Right, the first one, the initials were SC, right? And the cryptic clue was, I went into the restaurant on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. The fella making the food, he was there each time.
Okay.
Right? So you got to think about it, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, just to see
What is he?
He's
He's a cook, isn't he, if he's making the food
Yeah.
and that. He was there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's the same cook.
Yeah.
So what have you got there?
Same cook.
Same cook.
Sam cook. Sam
You
cook.
said same cook.
Yeah, but if I went, the way I look at it is, if I worked in a
The
record
way you
shop,
look at it is,
if I
you
worked in a
get
record
close you
shop,
can
someone
and
came
just
and
say
said, have
it.
you got Sam Cook? I'd go, yeah, sure, he's in the jazz section or whatever. Right, the second one,
bollocks, that is bollocks, that one.
go into that woman's store and rip her off. Right, so what's a store?
Shop.
Right, if you're ripping someone off, what are you doing?
Stealing.
Another way of
Conning.
right, okay. And what is it? It's a shop, it's a woman. So what am I saying?
What's the initial?
C,
Con shop.
right? It's a woman.
Corner shop. Corner shop.
There you
Corner
go.
shop.
So Steve worked that one out, well done there. The last one.
I'm stunned.
You've had a go at laying down a track, but it ain't perfect.
Go on. What's that?
So a track
Yeah,
is
what's the initial?
E. So you've had a go at laying down this track.
Yeah.
So when you're laying down a track, it's like it's a mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've had a go at doing it. You've just it ain't perfect. So you could say it's what's another word for not perfect? It's a bit of a
Shit.
like that's a bit rough, isn't it? It's a bit of a rough mix. It's your rough mix.
Your rough mix.
Your Rough Mix. I've never heard of that band.
That's not bad.
Annie Lennox, isn't it? Your rough mix. So
Your Rough Mix.
Candice Morris in London got them.
I really don't know what to say.
So sign picture off to
You're
her.
I feel embarrassed that we're still doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're jacking it in a bit.
Should we just
Yeah.
should we just not mention it again like it never happened?
Well, let's do Monkey News next week.
No, we're not doing Monkey News. There's nothing going on. I'd be doing it if there was Monkey News going on. It's not going on. We can't do it. Rockbusters has to fill the gap. Are we doing this week's?
Hurry up.
CK.
Depressing.
Oh God, we've got this week's to come. I thought the week's was over.
CK. Do you know the songs that you sing at Christmas? That bloke who sings them is brilliant at it. Right? CK. Second one. MG. I told the homosexual man that the grape tree was mine.
What?
I told the homosexual man that the grape tree was mine.
And what's the initials?
MG.
Okay.
Bit of movie. And I asked you if you believe in Father Christmas, right? What would you say if I asked you? The initial is S.
Is that specifically Ricky?
We might as well keep it as Ricky, yeah. I asked you if you believe in Father Christmas, what would you say?
So have they got? Is there any prior knowledge? Do they have to guess what I'd say?
Well, no, it's obvious what you'd say, right?
Oh, this is so bad.
So
It's an embarrassment. This.
Yeah.
So it's a little quiz. Leave them thinking with that for the next week.
Right. What are you going to learn about next week?
Podcast at rickygervais.com. Just send them in.
Embarrassing. Don't bother if they're shit.
Right.
Well, that's about it for another week. It's the end of number 5, number 6 next week. Keep coming to rickygervais.com. And we'll keep you abreast of things that are going on. We made a little video, haven't we, Carl? We might pop up there. And we've had a few emails about the old shows. People came into them late in the season, where you can now get all 12 episodes of the first season on iTunes. And I think there's £2 or £3 in England, or $5 or so, I'm not sure. But you can get those now, all 12. So for me, Ricky Gervais, goodbye. From Steve Merchant, goodbye. And from Carl Pilkington.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed this program. This is Audible.
Hello, welcome to number 6, the final episode in this season 2 of the Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Hello.
and Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
You can still go and get the archive, all 18 episodes we've done so far. That's available on iTunes and audible.co.uk. And there's a little video diary we've done, a little free podcast. We may go into free podcasting, but in video, Steve. And there's a little free taster up there. So check that out. Go to rickygervais.com to find out all news and everything. But come on, let's get on with this episode. We're here and now.
This is right, yeah, absolutely, here we are. Good,
Carl,
go.
I've got some bad news to start off with straight away. The world's oldest tortoise, a 250-year-old tortoise, died last week.
Is it?
Yeah, in a zoo in India. 250 years old.
So would that have had that thing that they say about how you get a flashback of your life?
You mean your life flashes before your eyes?
Yeah, they say, don't they? Just like on your last breath or whatever. You like see you coming out of the womb and everything.
Well, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe your life flashes before you. I don't know what evidence we've got. People who die say, you never guess what's happening.
No, but there's loads of things that have happened where people go, oh, that's weird. That goes to show that we've been around before, or
No, it doesn't. There's none. I have no evidence for that.
well, I told you that time when it happened to me when I was younger.
Go on.
Your life flashed before your eyes?
Well, it wasn't like a flashback, but it was close. It's the next thing next to flashbacks. It was I was having a bath, right, and my mum had like run the bath and that, and she said, "Is that too warm?" And I said something like, "No, it's all right. It's a lot better than when I used to have a bath in that wooden bath in front of the fire."
Okay.
And she was like, "What?" And I said, "It happened years ago." And she was a bit like, "Oh." And I can't remember that now, but she talks about it, and that just goes to show that, because I was at an age when I wouldn't have known about wooden baths years ago in front of fires.
No, but you talk rubbish now. So all you were doing, you were talking rubbish from an early age. Where's the problem?
No, but you can only talk rubbish if you're aware of knowledge.
Well,
I didn't know about wooden baths, so why would I have
But
invented
Carl,
that?
we've only got your mother's word on this, and she thought you might one day be a doctor.
Yeah.
So,
She put a rock with a feather on it to keep a parrot company.
lest we forget.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's all bollocks.
So have you researched this? You've tried to find out when little Karl Mark I and his wooden bath when he was...
No, I don't want to go there, because that's when you start digging out all sorts
It's
of trouble,
rubbish.
isn't it?
It's rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish.
Well, it is
What
rubbish.
sort of stuff might
There's
you
no
discover?
scientific evidence.
No, just
but-
like I've said about family trees and that, don't be looking at them, because you're only going to find stuff you don't really want to know about. It's the same as that, innit? Leave it, let it be. Do you know what I mean? If your granddad was Einstein, you'd know about it because your family would be shouting about it. If he was a bad one, you go, oh, keep that quiet. So don't look at family trees, and it's the same. Don't be looking back in your past lives, because
no
God knows
past
what you've been up
lives.
to. Well,
Carl and the Wooden Bath. Proof. If
Carl
proof be needed.
Pilkington live on air talking shit again.
but this taught us. So if that's
And also, its flashbacks would just be, the same wall. I mean, it basically spent, I don't know how many years, in a cage. It was in the zoo, so it died of liver failure. Which is a problem if you're a tortoise, because with us, they can cut you open and have a look at the liver. With that, it's going figure, well, you didn't want the plumbers to knock through the tiles to check out the piping. It's around with the tortoise. If it's a liver, we're not going through that. It's not worth it. If it's your head or your feet, we'll have a look, mate. But we're not looking at internal organs with a giant tortoise.
why not?
Because, what do you mean?
Well, can't you drill into those things? It is only a shell. That is easier to replace than skin.
Carl, I was joking. You can't do a liver operation on a tortoise.
Why not? It's got all the same parts, hasn't it? All the same body parts and that.
Well, I think that's the point. Well, not really, but yeah, it's
But
loosely
better
speaking.
ones in a way, because they live longer. So they're doing something right, aren't
Right.
they? If they can live 250 odd years, our art can't do that.
No.
Which is what I say about our tortoise has got it right in a way, that it's taking its time on everything. We're rushing it out, getting stressed out. That's just, getting on with it. It's not rushing. It eats healthy, doesn't it? It eats lettuce and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably doing it right, but to be honest, it's too much. I wouldn't want to live 250 years.
Just eating lettuce. Let's not forget that all the tortoise does is eat lettuce. It's not like it's jet skiing weekend.
No, I'm just saying that it must be doing something right, though,
Of course it's doing something right.
because it's living 250 years.
But all animals do something right, however long they live. Mayflies live a day, but they're doing something right.
Well, they're not, are they? They haven't got a chance to learn how to do it right, and then they're dead. It's, that's from one extreme to another, isn't it? That just seems a bit mental to me, that, living a day. I wouldn't bother, so forget it. Could you be bothered? Just as you get to know someone.
Another mayfly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we had that, if that's how we lived our lives, you wouldn't have a chance to make a mark or anything, would you? It's just...
Would you try and pack a lot in that day? Disneyland, whatever.
No, I prefer to make it miserable, so I don't miss it, if you know what I mean. But I was thinking the other day about, your body and everything, because it is amazing, isn't it? How it works.
Oh yeah.
Does the brain control you, or are you controlling the brain? I don't know if I'm in charge of mine.
Nor do I,
There's a
Carl.
surprise.
Nor do I,
No,
Carl.
do you know what I mean, though, by that?
Does the brain control you, or do
Well,
you control the brain?
don't you ever sort of think sometimes? Say if you're making,
But you
I
are
was
the
making,
brain.
No, but I was making a shopping list, right? Going right, need some rice, kidney beans, and I thought I had everything, and I sort of was rolling up the paper, and then something went, oh, an onion.
Your brain did
Something
that.
went an onion. Was it
No,
Suzanne?
well, my brain sort of went, you forgot something.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd forgot.
No, you are your brain.
No, but don't you understand? My brain I was in control of my brain when I was writing down rice and kidney beans.
But you're not in charge of the onion. That's another part of the brain that's in charge of the onion.
The onion sector.
Yeah.
No, but I'd put the paper away, putting my coat on, ready to go, ready to go and get the rice.
Yes, but your onion lobe kicked in.
What? So you put the paper in your pocket, you got the coat on, then you just suddenly hear
Then
from
it was
nowhere,
just like,
onion.
yeah, I'm not even thinking about that shopping list. It's in my pocket, I'm thinking, do I need my gloves, it's cold out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, onion. And it was like, oh yeah, onion, yeah, I had to get the paper out. What I'm saying is, who's in charge?
The brain, the mind, the brain is the... What are you doing? Who's in
That's
charge?
just you forgot the onion and you remember the onion. You must have forgotten things in the past.
No, but not like that, not where, like, it just made me think, that was weird, who reminded me of that?
You did.
Yeah, but I'm not,
No, you are your brain. It's not like there's you, then there's a brain, then there's an extra one looking down at it. The meta brain, the thing above it.
no, but your brain, how does your brain work? You give it,
Well, it takes.
Do you mean you give it information?
it always
if
doing
I,
it,
if
isn't
I
it?
sat in a room with nothing, not feeding it anything, he wouldn't know anything.
No, but there's this thing that there's two yous. It's this thing that there's
There's
this,
Carl and Carl's brain.
Yeah, there's not a duality in this. If you go, come on, now think. That's the brain saying that to itself. It's not. There's not two people in there having an argument. Come on, brain. And the brain's going, oh, don't you start, I was thinking then. And the other thing's going, brain, onion. And the brain goes, Carl, onion. You are your brain. If you are anything, you are your mind, your brain, your collection of memories, your personality. You're not what you look like. Does that answer your question, Carl? What do you think of then? You were thinking of a tortoise on a skateboard then when I did that last sentence, weren't you?
I, like you, Rick, I'm always annoyed and embarrassed when we have to concede something to Carl. And it seems now each week I look on the emails that we've got, and once again someone has found some evidence to support some of the nonsense that Carl has come out with. Now, you may remember we were talking about his concept of putting a giant mirror on the moon, because why should we have to go into space? Then we could just look up at the moon and we'd see the Earth reflected back at us, and we'd think, ah, that's the Earth. Isn't
I
it great?
can't see myself backing down on how ludicrous this is.
No, indeed. Although someone, I think they're really being very picky. They were picking you up on a technical point, because I think one of your criticisms was the idea that the moon is moving and thus the mirror would, be absent from view for some time. Although people have been claiming that the moon, there's always the same face of the moon that's shown to us. There's always the same side of the moon is always visible to Earth. That's when they talk about the dark side of the moon. It's not just light. It's the fact that we can't see. It's the other side of the moon.
we move, so it's not always present.
Well, no, but it would always be present to someone on Earth.
Yes, I know. Right, this is the thing. These people don't know what I know. I know that Carl is thinking of looking up there and seeing himself looking back. That's what he's hoping. Like when you're going along in a car and you see a shiny building, you go, oh, that's my car. And you wave. That's what he's hoping to see. He's not doing it to gauge the speed of light and think and change like that. He's not doing that. He wants to look up through a telescope and wave.
Yeah.
That's what they don't realise. I know what he's thinking.
Do you want to respond, Carl?
He's got the problem with the moon is.
Here's a statement. The problem with the moon is ...
Yeah. The problem with the Earth is there's too much water.
Yeah.
No, the moon. It's been around ages, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's got no history. It's got nothing to show for it. Just a load of old rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, history is created by stuff happening on it. So really, the moon, even though it's old, in a way it's new, because it's untouched and that.
But we don't go to the moon to visit museums or arcades.
No, but say like
historical landmarks.
Henry VIII, right? You watch Antiques Roadshow or whatever, and some woman goes, "Oh, this plate you've got, this was Henry VIII's," and as you can see the knife marks on it. Oh look, there's some chicken on it, right? And you go, oh god, yeah, that's amazing. Then someone goes in and goes, here's a plate of Henry VIII's, but it hasn't been used, it's still in the box. You'd go, well, it's not as good, that. It's got no history.
No, because very often on the Antiques Roadshow, they have Henry VIII's plate with a bit of chicken on it. They kept that. Don't throw that away. Why? Arthur Negus are like that in a few hundred years' time.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying? Things are only good if stuff's happened on it. The moon, you're up there, you're having a look, you're going, no one else has even been here.
But you go to the moon for research purposes, for scientific research.
Steve.
What do you mean there's nothing there? They're examining the soil and the environment and the air.
It's just a
Well,
lot.
they're not doing that, are they? They're just not doing that.
Well, they're not, are they? Because last time they went up, they were playing golf or something. There's golf balls up there that they've been whacking about. What sort of research is that? That's what I'm saying. There's nothing up there, so why else would you go all that way and go, oh, nothing here. Fancy a knockabout? Why are they knocking golf balls about if there's really important stuff to look at? You don't see people in museums going, fancy having a knock some golf balls about? No, I'm looking at this vase. Oh, right, that's interesting. But on the moon, nothing to look at. What other games have you brought? That's what I mean.
Carl, have you ever seen the programme Inside the Actors Studio?
No.
James Lipton interviews famous actors and gets words of advice about how they work and how they act. But at the end, he always asks a series of questions, which is based on a French series of questions that a guy called Bruno Pivot used to give people when he interviewed them. So I'm going to ask you some of these questions. Many people will be familiar with them. Just interesting to see what your response is. And, answer them quickly. You don't have to think about them too much. What is your favourite word?
I don't think I've got a favourite, because you only use them when you need to, don't you? I don't just go about saying the same word. So,
Well, alright.
yeah, it's not my favourite, it's just that it does the job. It does the necessary job for that time, doesn't it? It's like, how are you? I'm alright. It's a greeting.
What about, I think serendipity was voted England's favourite word.
Never used it.
No, stupid word.
Who decided that?
Don't know, there's a poll, but I will suggest things. I can't believe people come out going, favourite word, serendipity.
Thanks for asking.
So,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but the thing is, say if it meant, I'm fed up, will it still be the best word? Is it based on how it sounds and how it's put together, or what it means?
I think everything.
But then loads of words are being left out on, which are probably brilliant words, and they're not getting a look in.
Such as?
Well, like that one, fed up. I'm fed up. It sums
two
it up,
words,
doesn't it? Well,
words.
two, it just sums it up. When someone goes, how are you? You go, I'm fed up, me. Sick of it. It's another good one.
Oh, we get to it. Come on, some of your other favourites, right?
I've had enough. It's just all stuff.
These aren't words, they're phrases. They're all negative, they're all whinging. These aren't words. What's your favourite thing? My favourite thing to do is moan.
Yeah.
That would be there. Well, it's not one word, it's loads of words. Fed up, sick of it. Enough. Jeez.
Whinge should be your favourite word.
Yeah. Whinge is a good word. I like NGEs. Lozenge, whinge, flange.
Yeah. What is your least favourite word?
It might be serendipity. That would be up there for me. I'll tell you what, that would be up there for me.
Probably like French words that have made it into the English thing.
Blancmange.
Just
There's an unge there. So,
How could you dislike it?
How would you just like blancmange?
but just as if we haven't got enough words in our books.
Go on.
Because I was thinking about
Go on.
alphabet, right? Why have we got that many? When other countries get by without that many letters in it.
We got more words than any other language as well.
But that's because we've got more letters.
Well, I don't know.
So we've created a headache. I reckon you could at least half it.
Well, you probably could half it.
Well, you only use about half a dozen of them.
No, but stuff like an X, you look at words that have got X in, and they're always words that you go, what does that mean? How's someone come up with that? That's how it comes across to me, and there's loads of big words. It's like dinosaur names. It's like, well, look, nobody was about when they were knocking about, so let's
You've
make
learned
up
that
some.
at least.
Let's make up some names for them using the letters that hardly get used. They've all got Y's and X's in them.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, let's use it for that.
Yeah. So you just, it's not so much what is your least favourite word, you just don't really like most of the words.
Just cut down the words. Stop adding new words. I get by, I don't know how many words there are in the world, but I reckon I hardly use any of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, this year's word must be podcast.
Yeah, but
That'll be in the dictionary, and
but it's made up, innit? It wasn't here before, it's just another one. This is what I'm saying about...
But what else would you call this? You know, there is a new
broadcast.
concept called podcasting. That is a podcast.
But it's also a broadcast. We had a word for it. It's still a broadcast.
Yeah, but they go, oh, you're a broadcaster. Oh, what radio station? No, I don't work on a radio station. I do a radio show, but I don't understand. Well, I do a radio show and I don't understand. It's called a podcast. Done.
Here's another idea.
Go
Have
on.
a new one, get rid of an old one. Last one in, first one out, or whatever. Do it that way. That's a good way.
What would you get rid of then? So we brought in podcast this year, but what word would you lose?
Well, what's the name? Those birds that died out.
Dodos.
Get rid of it. If the bird's gone, the word can, surely.
It's profound. It's amazing. It's great. Oh God.
What turns you on, creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Learning.
That's a nice answer.
Yeah. Learning.
Excellent.
Learning.
Will you say that?
Yeah, but everything you teach me, I take it in. It's just that sometimes I go, I don't get it. But that still counts as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, it doesn't. Learning is knowledge is. There must be some sort of retention. You can't say I've got a great memory for a second. You can't say that. It has to stay there, and then knowledge has to be, applied. You can't just have all this knowledge that isn't applicable because it's useless. I mean, trivia is useless to a large extent. It's not real knowledge because it doesn't really help you in practically.
No, but there's a lot of that going on. You're always reading stuff that you go, I've just read that. It's got me thinking for a minute. It's not going to help me in any way, but it gets a reaction, doesn't it?
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's what art does, and yeah, sometimes education's good for its sake if it really does inflame. But
then sometimes, like I've said before, you can know too much where it gets you down.
Go on.
I just was reading something about an octopus. That's like a killer octopus, and it annoyed me that this was knocking about now because I didn't know. I thought they were quite friendly. Whenever you see them in cartoons and that, they're always happy, aren't they? And then suddenly, like, they've sort of brought the whole sort of creature down. Do you know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Well, just you know, when you see them in films, they're running about and that, and everybody likes an octopus. But this one that's on it was your fault really, because you told me about that frog that's going about killing people.
No, I didn't say that.
So I looked it up on the internet at like other creatures and stuff, and there's some octopus that's in the sea, and what it does, you don't even have to like threaten it. It just spits in the water, and if that stuff gets on you, does you in.
Again,
So in a way it's good knowledge, because I mean I don't go in the sea anyway because it's full of stuff like that, but that's just reassured me that I'm doing the right thing. If they're knocking about just gozzing everywhere, you don't even have to be near one. You don't even know if it's been spitting and stuff. It can kill you. It just seems unfair. I haven't harmed it. I haven't gone near it. Why is it getting annoyed with me? Doesn't seem right. So that's where knowledge has not helped that octopus out. Because now, when you eat them, I just think, yeah, have another one. Do you know what I mean? Get rid of them.
another conversation with himself. Another conversation with himself.
What is your favourite curse word?
I don't think I do anything like that. I think people can tell by my face when I'm like fed up.
No, you're fed up because you're always whinging.
I don't think I've got one. Knobhead. That sums everything up, and I think it's.
But you wouldn't call your nan a knobhead, would you? What would you call a nan?
But she didn't do anything to annoy me that much.
But if she did, what would you say? If she really annoyed you?
Well, knobhead's alright, isn't it? Because she sort of gets it. It's one of them things that everybody understands, but it's not too offensive.
Right.
What a knobhead.
Alright, you're getting into this, aren't you?
So that sums it up, but I don't really. Do you need one of them? What's that doing for you? It's better to think, innit? Like, okay, I've just slagged off that octopus, but at no point was a effing and jeffing about it. You know how annoyed I am with it. I don't have to start swearing about it, and that's.
What would you do though if you were swimming, right? It was a nice little thing. You're on holiday, right? And there's this octopus there, and you're going around, right? And you just see it start spitting at you, poison. What would you say?
Well, it's too late then, isn't it? And I'd kick it, and I'd say, "You knobhead." I would, but what's the point? What's the point in getting annoyed now? Because it's done its stuff on it.
You kick it and come in knobhead under the water. What is this octopus thinking? Oh God! Oh, okay, you fucking eight-legged shit.
I'm not bothered. I don't know what you're saying.
Fucking cunt of a mollusk.
I'll just spit at you again. It's not bothered.
You slimy little fucking boneless wanker.
This is why the face.
Are you
is
still
good.
talking to the octopus? downloadable as a ringtone. And it's also the jingle for Carl's Diary, just reading excerpts of Carl's Diary. Went home and looked up Freud on the internet, didn't find him that interesting, so looked at some other philosophers instead. Socrates, Aristotle. Why have you just listed some philosophers?
Just to show that I'm learning.
Well, that's not learning.
That's just learning their names.
That's a list. You might as well write 1 to 100.
Yeah, but if someone says, "Oh, what's your favourite philosopher?" I'll go, "Hang on a minute," and I've got them written down.
But why you can't just pick
I'll
one?
go and get my enormous diary out.
Yeah, get a wheelbarrow, bring in my workings, and say one of the names I've written
And
down.
when they say, well, why do you like him?
Yeah, why do you like
just run away?
I noticed you put Socrates first. Why is he your favourite philosopher?
You throw the diary at them and leg it. Oh, and then you go on to say, it's weird how names have changed, but then there's no other point there.
It just is, isn't it? When you think about, like, Socrates, I've never heard that on anyone who I know. Is what I mean. It's just, in a way...
But you're not Greek, are you?
But how did that go about back then? I mean, say if you were phoning someone up and they said, I'm booking a table for 2, they go, name? Socrates. Did he ever go, cheers? Without going, can you spell that for me?
But I don't know what point you're making.
I'm just saying it's a name that's awkward. You're always going to have to go, can you spell that for me? You go, and it's not just him. Look at all the other names that are on that list.
But they're from a different country.
And a different era.
Yeah, I know, but the names, I've been to Rome and stuff, and you sort of go...
Well, ancient Rome.
Just Rome. It hasn't changed, has it? Rome, so it can be ancient Rome or Rome in 2006. It's the same buildings.
I used to love Nero going around in his Fiat Punto.
Lao Tzu from years ago came up with some good stuff. 1, he who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Not entirely true. To lead people, walk behind them.
Yeah.
And of course, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step.
Did that.
Favourites.
Maybe this is why people are at the start line spectating at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, no, it's just that I've never understood why in Olympics and stuff like that, if you're going to watch, don't stand around the start line, go to the end, where you see the winner. But because of that saying, it actually makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, well, every step starts with a step, or whatever.
Say it again?
Every race, you know, you've got to start with a step.
Yeah.
So,
Which is, am I talking to now? You or your brain?
well, I was thinking about it a bit, so I think I was in control of it a bit more.
So, and what have you come up with?
Just if you want to stay at the start line, do.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, if you're into, I wouldn't watch a race, right?
Okay, is this you or your brain I'm talking to now?
This is me.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch.
Are you gonna bring the brain into it, or is it? There's no.
I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
Right.
if I was to watch a race,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hang about the start line because.
Well, you just said you would.
What did I?
Yeah, you said that's the place to start because every race starts with a step.
No, but I wouldn't normally.
Right.
I won't watch any
The
race.
brain definitely hasn't been used
No,
yet.
is this you or your brain you're talking about now? It would,
I'm just saying about me. If I was on holiday
yeah.
and Suzanne said there's a race going on down the road,
Yeah.
I'd go, well, let's go, keep going down the road and stand at the finish line.
Okay, but now what have
according
you
to
got?
Wazoo,
Yeah.
I'd say, well, hang on a minute. Every race starts with a single step.
Yeah.
How many people around the start line? Is there more room there? She goes, yeah. I'll go, let's go there then. It's less busy.
Right. And what would you see there then?
I'd see people starting a race, but I wouldn't be that impressed with them because I'd go, well, I don't know if any of these are any good.
So would you start at the start or the end then?
If it was down to me, I'd just probably stay at the finish line.
Okay. So you wouldn't want to see the first step then. So what do you think of Lazoo now then?
It's not what, but I wrote down 3 of his. That one isn't my favourite. That was the 3rd. I preferred the leading people from behind.
Okay. And what would you do to lead someone now then?
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to take responsibility, do you? You can go, well, I didn't send you here. You went there.
That's not really leading them, though, is it?
Yeah, because I've made them think. I've gone, they go, oh, I've just walked into a big hole. I'd go, oh, should have been looking where you're going. I haven't led them in that hole, but they've learnt a lesson. They won't go in a hole again.
That was one of the greatest conversations I've ever been a part of. I mean, that was incredible. Never mind Aristotle and Socrates. That was incredible. That. If someone's out there, could they make a transcript of that? Because I think that, you know, in 1,000 years' time, that'd be amazing. That was incredible, Carl.
And not once was the brain used. That's the jingle there for Rockbusters, the one of the most hated quizzes in the history of mankind.
Joking, aren't you?
The people loathe it.
I'm loving it.
It's the last one anyway, so just get over it, just do the answers. Oh, well, we can't do another one though, because we can't give the answers out, so this just...
Yeah, this is the last one. It's just the answers for last week for people who are doing it.
Okay, well, small mercies.
The first one that I gave you last week was, the initials were CK, right?
Yeah.
The clue was, do you know the songs that you sing at Christmas?
Yeah.
That bloke over there is the best at singing them. So what are the songs you do?
Carol King.
Carol King, yeah.
Right,
That works.
yeah.
That works. Very
Right.
well done.
The second one, MG. I told the homosexual man that the grape tree was mine. Right? MG.
Gay.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye, obviously.
Marvin Gaye,
But how do you get to
Hold on,
Marvin?
What's it?
That's my vine, isn't it? That I told you.
My Vine Gay?
Yeah.
My Vine.
Yeah. And the last one,
My Vine Gay.
That's shocking.
It's
the last one, it was
shit.
the last one. The initial was S. I said, I asked you if you believe in Father Christmas. What would you say? What's the name for Father Christmas?
Santa Claus.
Right. So if I said to you, do you believe in Father Christmas? You'd sort of go,
No.
yeah, but what's his name again?
Santa.
Right. So what would you do? You'd go, oh, Santa.
No, I don't. No.
That's it. That's what you do there. You go Santa, nah. Santa, nah. Santana. So that was the last one. Well done to Bob in Yorkshire. Got all three of them right. They'll get a little signed picture.
Oh man, that's it. That's the end of season 2, Ricky Gervais Show. We're back soon. Check out rickygervais.com for information and upcoming news. There's a free video cast we're doing. We're also bringing out a book of the podcast.
Yeah, that'll have a lot of the best conversations we've had with Carl, and I think there have been some of them in this show.
And Carl has illustrated all his points and his memories I mean, that he thinks that's proof, pictorial evidence. I mean, it is the ramblings of a maniac, but you can pre-order that on Amazon. Well, thanks very much. It's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, bye, and Carl Pilkington.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed this programme.
Hello, and welcome back to the first in the third series of the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And the round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington. We've been away filming our second series of extras, leaving Carl to his own devices in a sweltering London. We've had a heat wave here in the capital city, haven't we, Carl? It's been up to 100 degrees, record-breaking temperatures. What have you been doing there?
Sort of enjoyed it a little bit, was out and about.
Yeah?
Getting to see the place, having loads of walks. I like to have walks. You know, watching what
Like a
people
dog.
do.
Yeah! When he jumps off the couch and starts
Exactly.
scratching against the door.
Suzanne thinks it's time. Another walk.
It's just good thinking time though, isn't it? As well having a walk. You don't know the clutter going around. You just think about a lot of stuff. You know, like say with the weather being hot and stuff, a lot of insects and everything.
Right.
So just, you know, watching them.
So while we've been filming a TV show, you've been watching insects.
Yeah, just seeing, because everybody knows insects out there, but no one's keeping an eye on them.
Right.
Loads of Steve, you wouldn't be laughing like that if you'd watch them, because they do some weird stuff and that's what I mean.
What sort of stuff? Any example?
I saw a bee have a heart attack.
You saw a bee have a heart attack.
Yeah.
How were you sure it was a heart attack?
Because what happened? I'd been.
Did it clutch its chest with all 6 legs?
No,
Were there some other little bee paramedics?
No, I'd just been out in the park anyway, just looking at, caterpillars and butterflies and stuff. So I was sort of aware.
So when Suzanne goes to work, she goes, Carl, don't you waste the day. Just because you don't work at the radio station anymore, I want you to do some constructive stuff. And you go, yeah, I am, yeah. And so in your head suddenly goes... And he goes out.
But the thing is, so I'd been in the park and I was aware of the insects that are around us more than like most of the time. And I come out of the park, just crossing like sort of a busy road and whatever, and I saw this bee to the right of me, sort of in the air. And it was a big one, and I was a bit like, oh, let's watch that. And it just fell. It fell from the air in front of me, and it was on the pavement. I thought, oh, what's going on here? And I looked at it for a bit, and it was really still. Gave it a little kick, just to see if there was any movement. Nothing. What's the saying? Stone cold dead.
Yeah! Stone cold bee dead.
So,
Yeah. I like the fact that this bee suddenly saw Carl and had a heart attack.
Yeah.
It'd never seen anything that round before.
Yeah.
It just thought, it had approached him because he thought it was a sunflower.
My God, it's a giant walking orange. Every dream has come true.
No, but it just summed up life for me. I thought that's like us, isn't it? At the end of the day, you have heart attacks, stress.
You put it down to stress, do you?
Well, it's in London, isn't it? Everything has stresses from living there.
And they are bald, aren't they? They've got fur all over, but they lose the...
And always overweight.
It was a fat, bald bee!
So what did you... It fell to the floor and you instantly... You just kicked it, you didn't attempt
No, I
to
waited a
revive
second and just looked at it to see if there was any, leg movement or wing. And there was nothing, and then when I sort of kicked it, it was sort of hard. It hardened already. It was
Rigor mortis the same.
mortis set in.
Did it put you in a bad mood for the day? Because I know things like that can just send you over the edge for the day.
Death and that does a bit. Suzanne doesn't like talking about death.
What riveting conversations do you come up with?
No, just things like one of our mates has had a baby recently, and I just was saying, when that's sort of our age, we'll nearly be dead.
Think of that.
It's the first thing he says is a new life brought into the world.
I know!
But when he's our age, we'll be dead.
Yeah.
No, it's
Maybe
weird.
they'll let you do the speech at the christening.
Yeah, it's just, so like I say, just insect life and that, it's interesting.
You say it's interesting, but do you care about really finding out about them? Do you really care about what bees do or as you look at them and you make up your own world? For example, it had a heart attack, it's stressed, it's overweight. You know nothing. I could probably... Why don't you look something up? Honeybees are fascinating. Honeybees, they've been around making honey for 100 million years. It's incredible. Their wings beat over 11,000 times a minute.
And he's thinking, no wonder I had a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. But then, in fact, do you know bees, like ants, are actually like specialised wasps. They're sort of developed from the same.
Family.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me. Does it interest you in any way?
Well, everything's linked to something, isn't it? It's like how they say away from monkeys and that.
Yeah.
It's all the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been watching loads of stuff. I've been watching ants. You mentioned ants. Got a lot of moths in the house.
I mean, you say it like it was a garden party.
No,
Yeah.
it's just all these things. You look at them. I mean, you go into the scientific bit saying, it likes honey or whatever.
It doesn't like honey. The reason they store honey is to get them through the winter when there's not like nectar or nectar's hard to get and they store it. And they store too much, which is why we can skim a little bit off the top. We're like agents.
Yeah, well, but all I'm saying is I look at more about what its life is like. as
Well, no,
opposed
you
to-
don't. You don't. You guess. You make it up. You don't look into it at all.
No, but you can. A bit of guesswork is you're pretty close to the truth most of the time.
Boy, what do you mean? That statement sums you up. A bit of guesswork is pretty close to the
Because
truth.
if you watch something long enough, is what I'm saying, you can see that it's a bit clueless. It's the same way about ants or they're hard workers and all that. I watch one; it's going back and forth all the time. They go one way and then they stop and go the other way. They try to look busy in front of the mates. But if you watch one long enough, it's back and forwards, and it's like it's done nothing there.
I'm going to carry this twig back and forth. There's like a knock-off at 4.
There's a lot of that going on.
Is there?
Because there's none of that going on.
There is. No, like I say, the moth, you depressing little sort of thing.
Why is it depressing?
Just the way it hasn't got eyes, has it? You just look at it, it doesn't know what's going on. I just don't. I think if you haven't got eyes, you shouldn't have wings.
That's a rule. If we could put that into practice, please.
That's a great rule. That's a fantastic rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you haven't got eyes, you shouldn't have wings.
Certainly true of people thinking of becoming an air pilot.
You know, whilst you've been working, I've been travelling about a bit, seeing the country and that. Went to Dorset, right? Nice beach there. And you know those huts you get, like a hut on the beach, and
Where you get changed.
you can get changed in it, but they're better than that. It's like you can put a telly in it, sofa if you want.
Oh, you don't mean the Victorian changing huts? You mean
those
like
sort of things. It's sort of bigger than that.
yeah?
And we're walking down there, and there's a really sort of big fat family in one of them. There's about 4 of them, and you could tell that they'd never had a game of anything. They'd just sit down there, eat ice cream, and see. And the weird thing is, the little fat kid, the youngest one, who must have been, I don't know, about 8, he was really fat to the point of you couldn't see his neck.
Yeah.
And he sat at the front of his mum and dad and his older sister. He sat there and he had a frisbee and thought, look, they don't know how to play this. I mean, that's an active game to play, isn't it? Yeah. Frisbee. As we got closer, he was just using it to eat Maltesers out of. I just thought, even again, you know, the one active thing he's got, he's using it to eat out of.
Yeah. Extraordinary.
And that just sums up what people are like now when it comes to keeping fit and activities.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Were you sporty, Rick?
I was, yeah. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Were you good at it?
I was good at some things. I was never good at rugby. Never good at cricket. Was all right at football. But those things were the more competitive things that were scary. So at my school, when you're surrounded by like people that the fun is hurting someone.
Well, it's weird you say because I remember the first day I went to play cricket, my mum said, as I was leaving, I was really excited about playing cricket, she went, be careful. I was walking across a playing field once, a cricket ball hit me on the head, I was unconscious for 2 hours. Freaked me out. On the way to play cricket, I thought, okay, always scared of the ball because it's obviously, as you say, rock solid. I remember a couple of seasons later, I had to play rugby for the first time. As I was leaving the house, she went, be careful with rugby, I knew a kid once broke his back playing it.
I was terrified of rugby. I was terrified
scared,
of rugby.
such a scary
The
game.
ball came to me, I got rid of it immediately.
It's mental.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And what I remember is, I remember a teacher saying you've got to play it very carefully because you can get seriously injured, you can hurt yourself, you can be crippled for life. I remember thinking, why are we allowed to still play this game at school?
I was worried about cracking heads and a finger in the eye.
How is it not bad?
That worried me all the time, a finger in the eye.
But they removed the asbestos from schools in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But rugby,
I
it's
know.
allowed to play. It's mental.
Yeah.
See, I had a mate called Mark who liked playing cricket, right? And when I used to say to my mum, oh, can I just walk about with Mark and stuff to play cricket? And she never used to let me go. She'd go, prefer, you didn't. And I used to always think that, it's because it's a dangerous sport, you can get hit on the head by the ball and it's hard. Put an eye out or whatever. But it was because his dad used to drive us to the place to play cricket. And he had, his eyelids were too big. So he used to have to sort of have his head right back.
It's like one of those old-fashioned dolls where you could lean about
they
it.
clump back and clump forward again.
And she didn't like me getting in the car with him.
Sorry, who's this? Whose eyelids are too big? Growing up, you had a woman who had her head like a bag of spuds.
But I didn't know.
No, you had 2 kids at school with webbed hands and feet and big heads. You had a pigeon chest boy.
Nowadays you're walking around with insects and moths like something from James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah, and you had a bloke whose eyelids were too big.
One thing I've noticed that because I occasionally go to the gym, and you know those guys who work out constantly to give themselves improving physiques, who just stay with them all weights. And I noticed in the summer particularly, those guys cannot wait to get their shirts off.
Yeah.
Everywhere you see, they're walking around. If they've got a good torso, they are walking shirts off. Even I think if you go to nightclubs, I notice there's always one guy who's thinking, well, I have put so much work into this body, I have got to get my shirt off on the dance floor.
At best, yeah.
It goes straight
A
off.
brand new tattoo. I'm not covering that.
Exactly.
I've paid a lot for it. Let's see it.
Yeah.
But that's what we were saying about body while we were talking about got to the point in science now that you can change your head.
No, well, that doesn't make any sense at all.
It was a program, it was done in the 50s or 60s where they stuck a monkey's brain on a stick and had it wired up and it still worked.
Right, okay.
And that was in like the 60s. or
Right,
whatever.
okay. Well,
So-
to say to change your head makes no sense at all. Because if you put a different head on a different body, you're changing the body.
Yeah, no, well, that's what I'm about to say. Scott.
What?
I'm saying that I'd be more confident if I had someone else's body. Because if anyone dissed it,
What are you talking about?
What? It's like, say,
As opposed to someone else's head?
yeah. Well,
What,
it
you'd
would be
rather-
me, would it? The head is me.
Well, of course it is. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
So
the
what do you
head's
mean?
me.
You'd be happier having someone else's body? What, than your own?
What I mean is, say if you're wandering about, for some reason there's an incident, you have to take your top off, and everyone's looking at you. Six pack, which isn't that nice anyway. I don't know why that's become a nice thing, really, seeing the insides of you. You might as well. I mean, I know I came up with the see-through skin idea, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? You can see stuff.
No, it's the muscle in front of it.
No, it's not. Sometimes
is.
you can
It's
see
not the-
It's
like
not the
tubes.
outline of your
No, you
organs.
can't see tubes.
You can see tubes and veins and stuff.
We can see veins.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see that. That's why we've got skin over it. Is what I
Stop
mean.
looking at naked men then.
Why
No,
you
but
keep...
sometimes you can't help it because it's been on. And like there's people walking around with vests on. So anyway, what I'm saying is, say if some incident happened, I'm walking about with my top off.
Right.
Girls are laughing at me, right?
Why?
Don't know, they might.
Yeah, go on. So they wouldn't look at your body, they'd all look at your head.
So what I mean is,
Yeah.
rewind that, right? And imagine all that happens again, but I've got someone else's body.
Right.
Whose body?
Just a fella who's died, and my body was injured, and he said, "We've got your body. You can have it. Stick your head on it."
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, say if
They're laughing at you.
they are
laughing at the body,
they're laughing
yeah.
at the body, but at least I'd be able to sort of go, "I know it's a mess, but it's not mine." At least I don't have to claim ownership.
So all of this extraordinary technology that can make put one head on another person's body is so you can go, it's not my body.
It's not your own.
I'm not being funny though, so if you have a body transplant, right, and you're there, you're at home, naked, you look down, right? What do you do with them?
What do you mean? What am I doing with them?
Well, do you like...
Well, you wouldn't mess about with them as much as if they were your own.
But if you did mess about them, would you feel guilty that you were messing about with another man's testicles and penis?
And it's the full body.
Yeah.
No, they're not my hands either.
You're a genius! You're a fucking genius! So what you're doing is watching someone else wank.
Yeah.
Well, one thing Carl has been doing over the past few months is writing his diary. He's kept that up. I don't know what he's had to write about. All he's been doing is looking at moths and ants and bees and going for walks. But I'm sure it's all in the diary. So let's have a look at that.
Oh, I don't believe he's only going to write it down the...
We went to the park and had a brew. Suzanne read the paper while I played with the ladybird. I mean, it's like a child, isn't it? It's like what a child would do.
Suzanne read the paper while I played with the ladybird. His only friend is a beetle.
It climbed up my arm. It struggled on me hairs.
This is in detail then.
Yeah. It kept stopping every now and then and was rubbing its head with its right arm. It did it about 4 times and always used its right arm. It rested for about 5 minutes, then flew off. Sunday. Had a bit of a to-do with Suzanne because she wanted a line today. I ate this. Once you're awake, you should get up. I got up and put the radio on really loud. She eventually got up. I told her insects don't have lines, so we shouldn't.
Why are you obsessed
I
with
mean,
insects?
you must be fucking unbearable to live with. You must be a nightmare.
No, I've just started because I've watched insects a lot. I don't want to keep going on about them. We're a bit insect heavy. But at the end of the day, if we copied insects, we wouldn't go far wrong.
I don't know what you mean though. One minute you're saying they're great, then the next minute you'll slag them off.
Yeah, I'll slag some of them off if I don't know what they're doing, but because I've studied them a bit longer, I just think they do
You
it
haven't
right.
studied them.
He
though.
thinks he's like Darwin.
But you just slagged them off and again. Don't you think that insects are doing stuff? They're not. It
Yeah,
goes there, then
ants.
it goes back
The
again.
ant was messing about, but only that one. The others were carrying stuff. That's what I'm saying. There's snidey ones in everything. In everything in the world, you get hierarchy.
Oh, long words!
Ooh. Bookshelf was dusty, so Suzanne asked me to dust it if I get a minute. I ended up looking at every book.
Just the spine. Just for a few seconds each. Yeah. Didn't open them.
I looked in the dictionary to see if the word dictionary would be in the dictionary. I didn't think they would bother with it being on the front page, but it was in the book as well.
It's a good point, though, isn't it?
No, it's not a good point. Because you didn't tell us anything.
Dictionary is in the dictionary.
Of course it is.
Why? If you go, how do you spell dictionary? You look at the spine and you go, oh, there it is, D-I-C.
So what does dictionary mean?
It's a book full of words, isn't it?
That's what it means. All books are full of words, you idiot.
How to spell them. And if you don't know
No,
what
it's
it
not how to spell them.
Right,
I'll just look up something. No. It's not a book full of words. No. It's the meaning.
Give us
It's
the definition of
definitive
dictionary.
meaning.
It's a book full of words if you want to know what the meanings are. But if you didn't know
Well,
that,
I'm sorry, what was that sentence?
yeah, but what I'm saying is if you didn't know that, then you wouldn't be looking in it because you wouldn't know the book is about that. So if you don't know the word dictionary and what it means, you won't be looking at the dictionary, you'd be looking at an A to Z. Because you
Why
go,
leave it out though?
Just because there's so many words in the world, I would have thought they wanted to cram as much as they can on the page, and if the dictionary is already on the front,
Is that why you suddenly used the word hierarchy for the first time ever? Did you find that in there?
Did you see hierarchy in the dictionary?
I feel
I
that
don't know
that,
where
that
that
big
was.
word has pushed out about 26 other more useful ones.
Yeah, well, Suzanne's been going on about me learning another language, but I sort of think your brain has only got so much room,
And the rest of it's filled with lard.
so if I've got to learn everything I know again, but in a different language, it's taking up space, isn't it?
You don't learn everything. Oh.
It's all
What
it's
do
all
you mean?
storage, isn't it?
You don't have to learn it again. You don't have to learn the concepts again. You're merely
Do you know how
learning
many
vocabulary.
moves there are in the human brain? Really, you don't worry, you won't use them all up.
I feel that he has reached his capacity though.
Yeah. Well, you need another sort of. You need an update. You need some more memory.
Woke up to some interesting news. It's good when this happens because it sets me up for the day ahead. If it's miserable news, it affects my day. It said on the news that they have found 2 new flies.
Fucking hell, more insects! What have you done? Is that all you've done this summer?
Bong! Trouble in the Middle East. Bong! 2 new flies found.
Ladybird climbs up arm.
They were found in the UK and they were found close to each other. Maybe this happened because they were different than the other flies and weren't expected to hang about together, so that's why they knocked about with each other.
That would happen.
What do you mean?
There's 2 new flies.
What do you mean? Does it mean there are 2 new flies that are a different species?
Yeah, 2 new species, and they found them close to each other. Right?
Yeah,
And
but they didn't mean there was one of each.
No, yeah, they did. They found 2 different ones.
No.
No, they have. Seriously, I know that. That's right. That's a fact. So you've got like I don't know the names of them. They give them odd names, don't they? We'll say
Yeah.
call it A and Fly B. Right?
Yeah.
Fly A. I don't know. Let's say that's orange.
This is just.
B.
Probably, yeah.
No,
This is
but,
painful,
No, but
this
I'm
is
just making it
painful.
easy
But
for
Flyby
you.
wears
Okay.
a little hat. He's got a little hat.
Alright, yeah, fine. Now, they found the orange one. I went, look at this over here. This is a bit weird. And they've gone, oh, that's a new species. Log it, whatever. And then the other one went, oh, keep your pen handy. Look at this one, it's got hat on. So then they found them both within the same distance.
I don't know what that sentence
Keep
means.
going, keep going, keep going.
They
No,
found
let me
them
try and
both.
finish.
They found them both within the same distance.
But without interrupting him, let him finish this point.
Let me just make one thing clear. Carl Pilkins just said they found them both within the same distance. Think of that!
Don't know what it means, but go on, let him finish this point.
So what I mean is, they weren't knocking about with other normal houseflies because they were probably sort of going, oh, he's a bit weird. leave it. Yet, because the other one was also odd, they're hanging about with each other. Don't you understand that? Why is that such an odd concept?
Because you think of it as like two little new kids in school.
Yeah.
They find out they're both new and they've got something in
Yeah,
common.
they're both goths, so they start hanging out together.
Yeah.
And this was on the news, was it?
Yeah, just on the radio, yeah.
I know if I look into that story, it would be 90% wrong.
Bit tired today because didn't get to sleep as early as I wanted due to a moth getting in the bedroom.
Fuck me.
I got it in a glass and looked at it for a bit and then let it go because Suzanne wanted to go to sleep. Looked up some interesting news. Some people dug up an old body in Ireland. Turns out it's well old and was here when dinosaurs were here. The really weird bit is it had hair gel in its hair.
Right, what is it?
Fella.
Well, no, it wasn't around when dinosaurs were here then.
Just a bit after.
Right, fine. A lot after, yeah, go on. I think any hominid, anything that could even be linked to anything that may become man, is only about 1 million years old, and I think Homo sapien is probably only about 150,000 years old. Dinosaurs are about 150 million to 250 million.
Yeah, no, it's not the age bit, that's amazing. It's the fact of, there's a fella, won't have even had shoes on his feet,
Right.
and yet he was worried about his hairstyle.
Right, well that's definitely not true either. This is unbelievable.
Well, there was a man on the radio doing poetry, says Carl in his diary. I thought I'd have a go at doing a poem about today.
Not really. Steve, I'm a little bit queasy. He hasn't really written a poem.
He's written a small poem.
No, he hasn't really.
Yes. If moths had eyes...
Fuck me!
Let me read the poem, okay? You wouldn't interrupt T.S. Eliot.
Okay.
Oh, okay. If moths had eyes, would they be happier? How do they know they're not dead? Cavemen hunting for food, but not before they style the hair on their head. What would last longer in dinosaur times? A blind man didn't stand a chance. Not with all them rocks about. I'd rather be a blind moth.
Right. It may be the greatest poem
Now,
ever written.
just dissecting it briefly, you attempt to rhyme in the first 4 lines, but abandon the rhyming system in the last 3. Is there a creative decision for that?
Can we have Carl read that?
By all
Sorry,
means, yeah.
just you read it as you would like to. So this is. Imagine this, right? Okay, this is going out all over the world. This podcast. Manchester.
If moths had eyes, would they be happier? How do they know they're not dead? Cavemen hunting for food, but not before they style the air. What would last longer in dinosaur times? A blind man didn't stand a chance. Not with all them rocks about. I'd rather be a blind moth.
He said it as though the last bit was going to rhyme. He said it like it was going to rhyme. Oh God!
No,
It's amazing.
I think he feels as though the final line, I'd rather be a blind moth, is going to be one of those great, a summation that somehow the moth is a metaphor, the caveman.
There's no metaphor in that. He really does mean he'd rather be a blind moth.
Yeah, well, I'm just because I've looked at the day's news.
Can we always do that, Carl? Can we always find a day, right, and always sum it up in your
In a
thoughts,
poem.
a poem, just like that? I love that structure. I love that structure. If there's any English students or professors or novelists or poets listening, please email us what I thought of that poem, why it's good, why it's bad. So, give us your thoughts on that. I mean, we would love expert opinion from poets, English professors. Just email us at podcast@rickygervais.com. Now, Carl, apart from being a poet, you are an author now. You've written a book. Which surprised me and Steve, because as Steve said, we thought you'd read a book before you actually wrote one. But you've proved us wrong, and all your teachers wrong, and everyone in the world who thinks you're an idiot. It is actually a very good book. I mean, a lot of it is transcripts from, the podcasts. But you've answered some of your critics, haven't you? And you've tried to prove some of your theories. It's everything about Carl. It is like
All the drawings.
all the drawings. There's new stories, isn't there? And there's so much effort. I can't believe it. He's been working on it for months, and it's out on the 18th of September. But you can order it now, can't you, on Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk.
What's that book called?
It's called The World of Carl Pilkington. Well, thanks very much. Goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais. Goodbye from Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from the little hollow, egg-headed moron that is Carl Pilkington. Well, episode 2 of season 3 of the Ricky Gervais Show. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Hello there.
and Carl Pilkington. What's been going on? What's been going on?
I've been to hospital. Rushed to hospital. Emergency. Had a tube put in my knob.
With a tube put up your head. What was the tube?
Kidney stones. Shouldn't really be here, to be honest. He said rest. Climb on stairs on the way.
To be quite honest, it doesn't look like you're expending a lot of energy at the moment. It's like Zuki going all that slow move today. Calm down.
Yeah, but I had to get here. It's been raining.
Yeah,
Come up the stairs. I had to carry the computer.
yeah.
Well, that's not entirely true because your girlfriend was carrying it. I saw her outside.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
And then you handed it to me and said, Steve, carry this. So
Almighty.
Yeah, I know.
that's already a lie.
Christ almighty. Whinging.
Not whinging.
I'm in show business. I know loads of people that wake up every day with a sore knob, feeling like they've had their kidneys probed, and they would say they're unconscious. So they don't whinge about it. They get straight back onto it. They, a lot of them are on TV now.
Yeah, straight back to hosting game shows.
So you're rushed to hospital.
So take us through the events because it does sound quite dramatic. You started feeling a bit of pain, did you initially?
I felt a bit of pain, and I thought, maybe I just pulled a muscle or something when I've been wrestling with Ricky and that, because you don't know what damage has been done. So I just think, it'll go in a minute, and then it didn't. It got a bit badder.
It got badder, did it?
So then I
Got a bit
thought,
badder.
I was crippled. I was lying on the floor in agony, looking on the internet, looking for sort of
Still looking at
solutions.
Monkey News.
No, I just put in like bellyache and stuff, and they were saying it can be loads of different things. And what I used to do when I was a kid, I used to always just get a cold ashtray and put that on my belly, and the coldness used to get rid of the badness.
Amazing.
The coldness got me.
Like a witch doctor.
Yeah.
This is like
A witch doctor happens to work in a pub.
it's like some sort of 5th century remedy
Yeah.
written in mud. Coldness doth get away with the badness.
Why specifically an ashtray?
Just because they sort of old cold.
They're old cold.
I don't know what this is. I love this idea that he's had the operation and he comes round and they're talking to him and his girlfriend gets a phone call and they say, Mr. Pilkington's maybe complications. He's just talking rubbish. She goes, oh good.
Yeah, he's back to his old self. What? Why specifically an ashtray? Sorry, because it's old cold. I understand it's old cold.
Oh yeah, we understand. Everyone who's done a medical degree understands old cold, but old cold belly badness. If you want to buy that book, Old Cold Belly Badness, it's the history of abdominal surgery by Carl Pilkington.
No, it just
But you put it in the freezer or something
you
first?
can do if you want, but they're normally cold anyway. It's sort of thick glass and that it holds the cold. But we don't smoke in our house, so I had to use a plate.
Oh well, that's madness. A plate's not going to work. Famously, a plate doesn't work.
No!
So you put a plate on your belly, but that didn't do any.
That didn't work. So called Suzanne and said, "Oh, I'm in agony here." She said, "Go to the doctors then."
Good advice.
So
A lot of people have done that straight away, as opposed to going through the plate ashtray.
Straight back. So he went to hospital, and he went to hospital. And he said, "Have you got an ashtray?" They went,
No,
"No,
especially an ashtray.
this is no smoking."
So anyway, so then we get in a cab and what have you, go there. I have an X-ray,
His voice is even more boring than usual, isn't it?
Extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
Fuck me.
and they put me on a drip and everything, give me some morphine and stuff, and found out that I had kidney stones. So that's why I was in hospital. And they get them out by... I don't know what's gone on, to be honest. I've got some tube inside me, from my kidney to my bladder. That's helping me stuff get about.
And so there's a little tube up the end of your knob into your...
Yeah, it's not there now, it's high up.
Right.
So it's high up between my kidney and my bladder.
But why didn't you have the thing where they go in the side? You had the choice to...
Because I said to the doctor, I said, I'm not a doctor. I said, what do you
He
think?
went, "Stop putting yourself down, Carl.
He said,
We need you in the operating theatre now."
he just said, I said to him, what should I have done? Because he said, if you want, go home and we'll get you in again or something. Something like that. And I said, no, I might as well have it done properly. Have it done now whilst I'm here.
Sorry, the choice was have it done properly or go home.
It was something like that. He said there's something you can do. And I said, oh,
Flush it out.
no, because it's too big. It's something like 7mm.
And it's basically because you don't drink enough water.
Yeah. So, anyway, I said, what do you think I should have done? And he said, tube up the knob. And I said, not my favourite one of the choice. But if that's what you think. So he said, yeah, have that. He did me little diagrams, which didn't help. He was like showing...
How big did he draw your knob?
Sort of normal size.
Yeah?
It was alright.
You weren't offended by them?
But he wanted into detail, it's just, more the tube and stuff in you.
Yeah. What was your ball bag like? Did he draw that?
He didn't do that bit.
Okay. Right.
But he said, we'll just pop that up there, and then that's when Ricky turned up to visit. Came in laughing at me. He was sat there in like underpants and stockings.
Stockings?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why have you...
He was there, and he wasn't in bed, he was sort of out of bed, his little drip, right? He had his little boxer shorts on, just sat there, right? In his pants, right? And he had stockings on.
Yeah, because they stop clots or something. Put them on your legs. It's like, when people have got big veins and they go on a plane.
Right.
You said you're not a doctor.
No, but I've seen it because Suzanne's mum did it, and it was she put them on ridiculously early, like 3 days before we were going away. She'd never been away before, and everything was like over the top. You know what I mean? She was like, best put them on. And so I put them on, and they like, I don't know what it is. It's something when you're under, the blood doesn't move about, so it can clot up in the leg. So you wear these sometimes.
And I came in to cheer him up, didn't I?
Was that a nice cheery experience?
I had a headache at the time. I was a bit stressed out.
Well, he's just the man you wanted at that point.
Yeah.
He reassured you, I imagine.
Well, it's weird how it suddenly all happened quick. It was like as soon as he came, it's like they got the finger out.
Not literally. Yeah.
Suddenly I was being rushed down to, having me stuff done. And I woke up and there was an Irish woman over me going, "You alright?" I said, "Oh, it's stinging a bit. I'll give you some more morphine." And I sort of put my head up to have a look at my tackle because I wanted to see
It was still there.
what was attached to it. You know what I mean? Because they said something about they might leave some string hanging out of it so they can pull the tube out.
It makes you talk.
So, I had a look for that. Couldn't see any of that.
Yeah.
But as you put the morphine in, all the muscles in your body go funny. My head just collapsed.
Your head collapsed.
Yeah, I sort of looked up to look at my stuff, but then she said, "Oh, you just need a little bit of morphine," and she put that in, and I just sort of went, oof. And then they sent me home about 2 hours after. But I'm in agony now, and
Are you in agony right now as we speak?
yeah, certain.
Now, are you a man who's had this kind of hospital experience before? Is this
I
your
don't
whole
normally
first time?
I don't go to hospitals and stuff because I don't like them messing about. But it does make you think now. Do you know what I mean? Like life and everything. It's weird how it's all happened in the last month. From seeing that bee sort of die.
No.
Well, not really.
No. This is not a near-death experience.
It is
You
a
had a
little bit.
routine operation to remove kidney stones because you don't drink enough water.
No, I know, but
This is not a shark attack.
yeah, but it's all life-threatening. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to fill out forms, would you? Saying if everything goes wrong, Suzanne can have the house or whatever. And then you find out more about the body as well, which has been sort of doing me head in a bit. You're more aware of stuff in your body, which I don't like knowing about.
Yeah.
They keep taking your heartbeats and stuff, and your blood pressure. I don't like knowing about that. I just like leave it. It's happening. Don't be messing with it. Stop measuring it.
Stop measuring it.
No, do you know what I mean?
Is that the same with a knob?
It's that thing of like they put that thing
That's what
on.
the anaesthetist was doing when you were under, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was comparing the diagram to the actual thing.
Oh God.
The fella across the way from me had the same thing as me, but he'd had it a couple of days ago when he was in agony. So that doesn't help. And he's saying, "Oh, I've been to hell and back." Like, don't tell me that.
Sure.
I don't want to know. Just say it was all right and stuff. So it just the whole thing of a hospital is stressful. You know what I mean? They wake you up like every half hour in the night, saying, "How do you feel?" It's like, "Oh, what? You know, it's 3:30. What are you doing?" I've got to have it done again in a couple of weeks because what they've done now, they've popped that straw up, but the stone's still in there because they didn't have the laser team in there. Blast the stone, and then that time they're probably going to leave a little bit of string out the end, and they have to go back 3 days later and they pull it out. Tell you what though, when you are sort of